Blog Talk Radio.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you're listening around the world. This is Sedona Talk Radio. Welcome to the Promote with Patty Show. This is the show where you will hear the inside scoop on great books, events, products, and services as they are discussed, dissected, and promoted to the world. And now, here's Patty.
Welcome to the show. This is Patty, and I'm really, really excited about today's guest and her book. The book itself is called Healing and the Creative Response, 4 Key Steps Shared by Healers and Artists. The book addresses the power of alternative healing practices and modalities to heal the mind, body, and spirit. I think it's a breakthrough book because of its explanation of the creative response shared by healers and artists alike. And as we go into this, you're going to find out that we are all healers and artists. The book is wonderfully and compassionately written by Randall-May, Ph.D. Kay is an internationally renowned spiritual healer, intuitive, educator, and artist with more than 30 years' experience working with clients throughout the entire world. Kay is also on the board of the National Council for Healing, an association of healers practicing a wide variety of modalities. She draws on a combination of techniques in her own work, but uses primarily laying on of hands and distant prayer. And right now I want to introduce Kay. Kay's on the line and bring her into the conversation. Hi, Kay. I'm really, really delighted to have you here and talk about the book and the CD that comes with the book.
Hello, Patty. It's such a pleasure to be here and to be talking to everyone through Sedona Talk Radio.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're going to have fun here because I've read the book and listened to the CD, and I'm really, really excited about it. Before we get in there, though, I think it's really important to mention here, and I'll mention it again at the end, but because we have a lot of listeners from the Sedona area and really from Sedona to Phoenix and other parts of Arizona, you've got a couple book signings coming up, so I want to just mention those quickly, and then I'll mention them again at the end. One of them is a book signing on October 30th, between 4:30 and 6 p.m. at the Golden Word Book and Music Center, and that's in Sedona, up on Highway 89A. And they'll also be carrying Kay's books at other times as well. So you can, if you can make the book signing, great, and if you can't, the book will be there. Another book signing coming up will be at the Changing Hands bookstore in Tempe, Arizona, and that'll be on December 3rd. Between 7 and 8:30 p.m., and they'll also be carrying Kay's book. And kudos to those bookstores. And I know that you're also going to be doing some teaching, Kay, and I want you to remind me about that too at the end when we talk about this.
Yes, Patty.
So,
that is actually through the Healing Arts Connection in Northwest Phoenix on Northern, 17th Avenue and Northern.
Okay, and when is that?
This will be starting in the new year. Check with the Healing Arts Connection in Phoenix, and they will be selling my books, but also I will be teaching several classes through them. We're looking first to one called Creative Self-Care, and this is for body workers. It has continuing education credits for massage therapists and for everyone in general. Creative self-care.
Oh, okay, great. No, that sounds really good. And at the end, let's talk about that too before we close again.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And so now I want to get into the book and the CD because they both go together. But you know, one of the things that came into my mind is that they could almost be standalone products because they're. You know, the CD is not a reading of the book, and it adds some other, complementary things to the book. But I found that in my mind when I was listening to the CD, I thought, geez, this could also almost be sold by itself, and here it is included with the book. So I think it's a huge value. And the one thing that I wanted to say about the CD, as a person who's been meditating for years, I found myself, I listened to the CD because I wanted to prepare for this, but what I found is that your ability and your speaking voice is literally, you could feel the healing energy in it. Very, very, I found it to be very, very powerful, and I wanted to mention that.
Thank you, Patty. The book and the CD are actually healing instruments. They are intended, and I put intention into every single book, they are intended to be healing in and of themselves. In the book, I talk about healing through objects, among many other modalities. And healing through objects is a traditional approach. By the way, do you realize every time you purchase and send a greeting card, you are actually practicing a form of healing? Do you realize that?
Well, I didn't before, but after reading your book and listening to the CD, I absolutely, of course. I mean, how did I miss that?
Well, I think that most of us in our culture today tend to think in ways that are perhaps a little more superficial, perhaps not recognizing the validity and empowerment and potency of intention. And intention is the very first step. These 4 key steps are common to so many different healing modalities and also to art, to creativity in general. But the intention we have when we pick up a piece of paper and send a message to someone, even the intention we have when we write an email on our computer, this becomes an energy focus for us. And as Edgar Cayce often would say, every thought is a prayer, and thoughts are things. Very powerful.
Yeah, and I'm a very, very strong believer in intention and practicing intention, but you really put, I really think that you bring a stronger focus to this in this book, and especially when you mention the, through objects, because, I'm aware of, the intentions and the formation of objects in what we consider maybe what I call the field of infinite possibilities. But what you're talking about, bringing it down to as your book being a healing instrument containing healing, the CD itself containing healing as a healing instrument, I think that's kind of a newer thought, I think, for a lot of people, but I think it's really powerful.
Well, the whole idea of imbuing objects with healing intention, of course, really is well known in the field of art. If a person goes to a gallery and sees an original artwork, like I was privileged a few years ago to be able to see an original Van Gogh at a gallery showing, I stood in front of that painting and was so moved by the energy that came from that painting. Not the colors, not the composition, not even the subject matter. It was the energy coming from that painting, even though it had been painted so many years before. I began to cry. I was just, people around me said, "What is wrong with this lady?" I was standing there with tears coming down my face because I could feel the energy emanating from that object that he had actually touched.